Welcome to Whips in the Dungeon 101.39. Today we're going to talk about whip characteristics for horizontal throwing. We did a video, good characteristics of a good short whip, and some of those characteristics vary slightly when we are focusing only on horizontal throwing. So first we're going to say the taper for horizontal throwing is still very important. Whips that are designed for horizontal throwing are usually shot loaded with a little bit heavier load toward the heel knot. I'm going to show you the cracker on a signal whip. This is the traditional way of finishing a cracker on the signal whip, as opposed to, I really like the way Peter Jack finishes his cracker on a signal whip. I don't know if you can see that, but his cracker's plaited very smoothly into the tip of the thong. The only problem with Peter's whip is his whips have a beautiful natural rollout. And we talked about natural rollout when we're throwing a bullwhip and a snake whip for the forward figure eight and overhand throwing, but a natural rollout is not as important when we're throwing horizontally. When I'm throwing horizontally, I want a whip that has a heavy shot-loaded heel that is plaited or almost over-pulled and is very tight. So when I hold that whip horizontally, you can see the gravity is having no effect on that whip. When I hold a whip that's been plaited with a great natural rollout, for overhand throwing, when I hold this whip horizontally, you can see that gravity's not being kind to it. So if I was going to throw this whip horizontally, I actually have to speed that whip up and increase my stall speed just to be able to get it to fly horizontally. Where when I throw a whip that's been built specifically for horizontal throwing, I don't have to speed that whip up to keep it horizontal. Okay, so typically you're going to see the plaiting almost over-pulled, over-tensioned, a heavier core, and a much stiffer whip. In fact, someone throwing overhand would say, I might not be able to break this whip in its lifetime, whereas if I'm throwing that whip horizontally, the horizontal thrower is going to be happy with that whip for an entire lifetime. Today's key word is explicit consent.